talking today about the punishment for this, and some of the punishments for some of these crimes has changed.
Lori, it has. And, DUI, driving under the influence, and let's start with this misconception. It's not a crime. The requirement isn't to be driving drunk, it's to be driving under the influence. The threshold standard for breath or blood in Tennessee is much like most states, .08. That's the legal limit. But the punishment is severe. If you're convicted of DUI, 48 hours in jail, $350 minimum fine, loss of license for a year, an ignition interlock device, and that is an adventure in and of itself to get it on, get it off. Then you have a mandatory alcohol and drug assessment, DUI school. You must attend a victim impact panel where you hear about people that have been injured and lives ruined by alcohol.
And that's really the key here. That's the takeaway. We look at the punishment, and yes, it serves as a deterrent, hopefully, not all the time because this is still happening, obviously, but a deterrent or an incentive to at least think about it before you get behind the wheel, because
Absolutely.
at worst, you're going to take out a family.
And it's really unfortunate to know during wedding season that the offshoot of that is people drinking irresponsibly.
Yeah.
And there are serious consequences. Also, a potential reason why the statistics are so high in Tennessee in July or August, it's boating season. And, just remember, it was almost a year ago when the General Assembly changed the offense of BUI, boating under the influence, to mirror the punishment of DUI.
Well, and a lot of people get on a boat and they think, oh, we're having fun. They don't realize those beers can add up. It's the same type of thing. You're operating a dangerous
There
vehicle.
is no exception because you're on the water. So, that's something, and you lose your license for a year. You can go to jail for 48 hours. You can pick up litter for 3 days. So a lot of serious consequences. And then, Lori, that's not to talk about the worst of the worst alcohol-related crimes. If someone is injured, vehicular assault by intoxication is a serious felony. Vehicular homicide, where alcohol is the proximate cause of the fatality, a very serious felony under Tennessee.
So tragic.
It is.
And that brings to mind, oh gosh, I always think about this. A young woman, 34 years old, named Samantha in South Carolina. This happened last April. It was her wedding night. She was in a golf cart being driven to another spot after the wedding. The vows had been said, and a drunk driver hit the cart and killed her. And this is a woman who'd had too much to drink somewhere else, I think at 4 other bars in the area. So she's had to pay over $1 million, and this is a case that just keeps going on and on. The mother of the groom is now challenging all this, saying the vows weren't legal because they had just been said. Now she wants to be the heir to all this. So it's just an ugly, unfortunate, sad, needless case.
Needless case, and think about this, as we talk about wedding seasons and Tennessee, not only do you have the consequences of a criminal offense being committed, and God forbid a fatality, serious injury, but you also have the specter of liability. And sometimes we forget in the holidays and we forget at wedding season, just because you are celebrating a special event, it doesn't mean that you can leave common sense out the window, that you can overserve people, that you cannot be vigilant. And it's almost analogous to kind of the jubilation of New Year's Eve, because hey, it's the wedding, it's the reception.
Let's throw caution to the wind.
Yeah. So, just remember the statistics are jarring.
Well, let's take a look at this. We have some stats right here. 1 in 3 crashes in Tennessee involves a DUI. 1 in 7 serious injury cases involved a DUI. I mean, these are pretty significant numbers.
They are, and Lori, the General Assembly has just, starting in July, added another enhancement to DUI. And it used to be a requirement that if your blood alcohol or breath was over 0.20, then it was an enhanced DUI. Then instead of 48 hours in jail, it was 7 days. They have lowered that threshold to 0.15. And the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation's research has shown that they think that will increase DUI convictions 85%.
Proving, hopefully, or providing, hopefully, another deterrent. To
Another
just think
deterrent.
about it. We're looking right now at a map, and you can see the concentrations of cases in the Nashville area, and then over here in East Tennessee. And we were talking about this earlier in the newsroom. That has to include Gatlinburg. A lot of weddings in Gatlinburg, a lot of activities in Gatlinburg. So it's the wider East Tennessee area, not just Knoxville, to get us on that number 5 list.
And another thing,
the whole state.
that people forget in terms of just, because you're celebrating something, whether it be a holiday, whether it be a wedding, you can't throw common sense or the law out the window.
Yeah.
Serving someone underage is also a very serious criminal offense under Tennessee law.
And we have school starting back up. College classes are starting soon.
But if you're, let's just use the example of a wedding. You're an adult, you provide someone under the age of 21 alcohol, and you're convicted, arrested, etc. You can lose your license for a year. It is a Class A misdemeanor, and it is a requirement that you do 100 hours of public service.
That's a lot of time, 100 hours. But I mean, this is such a serious crime. Something's got to be done. That's why they're making these moves.
Yeah, and that's why they are. But again, the thing is, don't get sucked into the celebration of the moment, the jubilation, and say, hey, just have one more, or, this is to a long life, let me give this toast. Just realize that doesn't change the law. And just, don't throw common sense out the window, be vigilant. But it is remarkable, and I will tell you this, Lori, as we see Tennessee's ranking spike in terms of DUIs, DUI fatalities, we're seeing a pushback from law enforcement, the Tennessee Highway Patrol, the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. So just realize this DUI problem, which has been characterized by our Tennessee Bureau of Investigation as an epidemic, is being addressed very sternly by law enforcement and prosecutors throughout the state of Tennessee.
They're out watching. So you know what? If you're going to overindulge, have a plan. Have a designated driver. Have a way home. You don't have to get behind the wheel.
That's why God created Uber. That's why you have designated drivers.
Yeah.
So it's really pretty simple, but for some reason it still is a problem, and the problem's getting worse. But just realize the consequences can be extremely severe.
Yeah. All right, Greg. Let's talk more about it at 5:30, shall we?
Let's do.
Thanks for being with us.